Good evening. Uh, I will share the slides after this and some handouts as well. So there's some exercises to do afterwards. And yeah, we've only got an hour and a half, and that sounds like a long time, but we've got a lot to get through. So there will be slides that I don't completely talk about, but you will get them afterwards and you can have a look at them afterwards as well. So who am I? I'm James. I'm the bald one here. I'm the creative director and training lead at Social Firefly, and we're a social media marketing company based in Brighton. And we work with loads of different types of organisations and businesses, from Brighton Hove City Council all the way through to Tupre, who are the French version of Polyfiller, to the local Philharmonic Orchestra and charities as well. So we've got this really wide knowledge base with loads of different businesses, organisations, and charities. So what are we talking about today? Firstly, we'll do some introductions. That's happening now. That's what we're doing. Then I will go through the current social media landscape and things to think about. We'll talk about planning for success. We'll talk about becoming more audience focused when you are thinking about social media. We'll then get into a bit of the psychology of grabbing attention on social media. You'll have a bit of time to maybe create a post yourself, just to have a little idea. And then finally, we'll talk about insights and analytics and how to track whether social media is actually doing anything for you and doing what you want it to do for your business. So let's get started with the current social media landscape then. These are the most used platforms in the UK: WhatsApp, Facebook, Facebook Messenger, and Instagram. Now, all of those top platforms, they're all owned by one person. They're all owned by, I was about to say Elon Musk. It's not Elon Musk. They're all owned by Mark Zuckerberg. So you can see how kind of Facebook and Instagram have become really, really powerful for helping you reach your audience and reach potential customers. What's also interesting about the most used platforms in the UK is that WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger are up the top there. We've seen everyone moving towards more small communities and wanting more private conversations with people rather than the bigger communities that you find in your Facebook feed, your Instagram feed. People want those smaller communities. So WhatsApp groups have become really powerful, and so has Facebook Messenger. Similar to how Facebook groups used to be great, and they still are for some people. But people want to have conversations with tight-knit communities and groups. So it's really worth thinking about how your business could be using places like WhatsApp to have conversations with potential customers. So while WhatsApp might be the most the one of the biggest platforms in the UK, people in the UK are using TikTok the most, and then after that you've got YouTube. And the big thing about these are they are video platforms. They're primarily based on video, and Instagram more and more is becoming a video platform too. If you want to reach more people to engage with your business, video has become incredibly important. On social media now, views and video views, that is the most important metric. Obviously, comments and shares are really important too, but video has become the most important metric, we would say, video views. And you can see that by TikTok. It's become this big thing. And TikTok no longer is about young audiences. It's getting older, and it's full of interesting and engaging, entertaining content. But it's no longer just about people dancing in their bedrooms. You can see here that the main kind of group that you're reaching on social media a lot of the time is the 25 to 34-year-olds. Now, here you can see TikTok is a bit younger, but it is getting older. The gender split in most places are 50-50. But the one place where we see more men than women on the social media is Twitter. And Twitter is one that people are kind of moving away from. I just include it here because it's one of the biggest. But this is the general idea of the largest age groups and what they're all good for. And so it's really important to think about what channels you're on, based on what you want to achieve and who you want to reach. For instance, if you want to have real life conversations with a local community about a specific issue, then Facebook might be the right place for you, because that's the place you get conversations, local group engagement, and shares. If you want to share your knowledge about a very specific thing, and maybe you want to sell a very specific product, then LinkedIn might be the best place for you. You need to have a think about this as you begin to build a bit of a social media strategy. And what I'm also saying here is you don't have to be in all of these channels. Social media, you should only really be in the ones that your potential audiences are engaging with. You don't need to spend your time in every single social media platform. Now, I've already spoken about videos, but I wanted to raise this point that 91% of Instagram users watch Instagram videos every week. It's become much, much bigger than it ever was. So creating some kind of some kind of video for all of your channels, your social media channels, is really important. It's become the primary way to reach more people and get engagement. LinkedIn is one that people often neglect. Engagement rate on LinkedIn, however, and that's the amount of comments, likes, and shares people are engaging with on LinkedIn. It's increased by 44% year on year. So it's really interesting place to engage potential audiences. So depending on your business, LinkedIn could be a really interesting place to find your audience. But we shouldn't be forgetting Facebook. Facebook still holds 60% of the UK social network market. It's still kind of the biggest beast when it comes to social media users. It is bloated though. There's a lot of things about Facebook that I don't like and a lot of other people don't like, but it's still like highly engaged with, and it's still got a lot of people who use it daily. So it is worth keeping in mind. Now, the problem is you've got all of these different channels, social media channels, and every day the average UK-based user spends an hour and 49 minutes scrolling through social media. And I mean scrolling. That's all they're doing. They're not really engaging. They're not doing anything. And they use around about 6 different social media channels each month. However, 74% of people are just tired of social media ads. So the one thing that I would say is I would change our ideas about what social media is, and move away from using words like promoting your business on social media, because that's not what social media is for. That's not what it was created for. People are on social media to keep in touch with family and friends. They're there to fill spare time. They're there to read news stories, find interesting content. You have to go all the way to the bottom of this chart to find products to purchase. Now, people are using social media platforms to find reviews and find out what people are saying about a product that they might want to buy. But the primary reason they're there is to engage with their family and friends. So you need to think about that when you're thinking about creating social media content. It isn't about selling. It has to be about building relationships with your potential audiences. And here's my catchphrase: social media includes the word social for a reason. People want to engage with people. They want to have relationships with people and conversations with people. They are not in social media to be sold to. Now, if they already know you, you can potentially sell to them, but you have to build up a relationship first. And that's the big thing that a lot of businesses forget. You have to build up a relationship with your audience first. And that could be through entertaining or educational content. It could be through funny videos. There's loads of different ways that you can do it. But you have to build a relationship with people first. Because what we want to do is we want to get people all the way down this engagement ladder. Social media is great for getting people for making people aware of your business. So the first thing you need to try to do is create content that they are wanting to stop and like. So that's number one. You want them to you want it to grab attention and actually engage with what you're doing. But you have to then get them all the way through these stages for them to actually buy anything from you, or to donate to you, or to do something for you. You have to go through all of these stages to do that. And that is difficult. And that is why I kind of say focus on only the social media channels that your audiences are spending their time on. The most difficult thing to get people to do is sharing your social media content. But that is, if we go back, that is the number two. That's the second thing you want to try to encourage people to do. Sharing content, however, is quite personal. So these are the reasons that people actually share social media posts. Now it says at the bottom to get the word out about causes and brands is the most important thing. But I kind of look at this differently. I think number two is the most important because all of the others can go into number two. We only share something on social media if we believe in it and if we want other people to think, oh, they believe in that, so they must be great. For instance, if I share a product that I really enjoy on social media, I'm telling the world something about myself. I'm saying, I believe in this thing, this defines me. So you've got to find ways to encourage people to want to share your content. And again, that could be making it funny, educational, intriguing, interesting, all of those things. Now, doing that, encouraging people to share, encouraging people to engage, finding ways to get people to actually have conversations with you, feed nicely into the Instagram algorithm. So I'm using the Instagram algorithm as a simple way to explain how social media algorithms work, but they all work in a really similar way to this. You post something on your social media feed. If Instagram thinks it's okay, for instance, it doesn't look like it's a scam or it's not a low quality picture, it will push it to about 20% of your followers, people who already follow you. Now, they say 20%. I actually think it's less than that. Sometimes it seems a lot less than that. So not every single one of your followers will see the social media post that you put out on any of the platforms. If it continues to get bad signals, so people scroll past it, or they report the post, or they mark it as not interested, it won't continue to get pushed. However, if it gets the good signals, so that's they click, they save and come back, they share, they like the post, they comment, then more people will see it. So you need to create content that encourages all of these good signals. And these good signals are all about engagement. I would also add into here video view retention. So people watching your videos for more than 3 seconds, for instance, is a good signal. It means that, oh, people want to watch this. It is a good video. So the more you can create content that does that, the more you will grow, the more awareness you will get, and hopefully, eventually, the more customers you'll get too. So that's an overview of the social media landscape and the algorithms. If you do have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat, and I can answer every now and then. Every section, I'll come over to the chat and see if there are any questions. But for the time being, I'll move on. Any questions, just throw them in the chat. So let's talk about planning for success. I want you all to just think for a second what matters to you. Forget about social media, forget about marketing for now. What do you need to achieve at a business level? Now, you're all going to say, I want more sales, or I want more customers. That's, of course, one of the big things we all want to achieve as a business. But think a little bit deeper about it. It's not just about customers. Is it about awareness? What do you need to achieve in the next 6 months? Normally, if I could see your faces, I'd know if you were having a think or if you were writing anything down. But as I can't see your faces, what I'm going to do is keep going. Hi, Sarah. I'll keep going. And just have a think about that as we move through the next section. So, what we're trying to do is get people through to conversion, right? So, of course, you want to achieve, you want more people to see you, and you want to achieve sales, which is conversions. So for whatever you want to achieve, you need to think about creating content that makes people aware of you. So that's this awareness content at the top, that makes them want to consider doing something for you or engaging with you. And then finally makes them want to convert, buy something for you, donate, etc. This is an example from Beat, the eating disorder charity. At the top, we've got a video, and it's a really fun, interesting video that grabs attention. And it's about Joe, who's got an eating disorder. And it's saying, yes, men get eating disorders. It grabs attention and it draws people in. The next post is a carousel where we're giving more information. And we're encouraging people to click and read more about this other person who's experienced an eating disorder. And then finally, we have a conversion post where we're asking people to donate. And this works for any business or any charity. 80% of what you do has to be about the awareness and consideration phase. It has to be about actually engaging with your audience and trying to get them to have conversations with you. I see Sarah's asked how important are photos rather than words. Now, interestingly, we found that text-only posts on Facebook have begun to perform quite well actually recently. But images and videos will grab more attention as you're scrolling through the feed. And if you think about any of the places where people spend more time, and that is TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all of those require imagery or video, and they grab more attention. So it's worth testing both depending on your audience. It's worth testing whether words and just trying to gather, ask questions and get people to engage with you, works better for your audience than imagery and videos. It's worth testing. So here I would say 80% of what you do should come from awareness and consideration. It's about engaging with your audience. Now that might seem a lot. It might seem like I'm asking too much of you, but this is an example of the type of thing that we think about when we're creating content. We've created a blog over on the left here. We call that pillar content. It's a big chunk of content. It's a load of writing. It's a nice blog that talks about Gabriel. What we've then done is find ways to turn that into loads of different types of social media posts. So on the right, you can see there's an Instagram story, which just the idea of that one is to get people to click through. It's more of a consideration post. The one in the middle is more of a engagement kind of post. We're trying to actually get people to donate or click through to the website. And at the bottom, there's an Instagram post there, which is all about trying to just grow awareness, really. So while it might seem like you need to do a lot to try to get engagement and get reach from people, you can find ways to repurpose content and create kind of this cluster content from one big thing. And I think that's really important. So we've got another question here. Start a podcast. What's your opinion on the best way to grow the audience? So now it depends on the audience. So we're going to talk about audiences in a second. So it really depends on who you're trying to reach. So, and this is why, you need to come back to thinking about what do I really need to achieve for the business. You want more people to listen to the podcast. And who is it that I am trying to reach? Because that can begin to help you understand where you've got to spend your time. So we'll talk about audiences in a second, and maybe that will help with that podcast question. So I want to go back to thinking about what you want to achieve. Reach, impressions, followers, they are not important. So if, for instance, you want to get more people to buy your product, yes, you do want to reach more people, but social media includes the word social for a reason. I can spend £100 on Instagram and I can reach 2,200 million people, right? I could reach all of those people. If they're not doing anything, then they mean nothing to me. So I want you to think about just these metrics. So when you're creating content, these top metrics in the green are the most important. Remember, social media includes social for a reason. We want people to watch a video, or we want people to click to send us a message. We want people to share. We want people to comment and reply. The ones at the bottom are also important. Engagement rate, people who like your posts, visits or mentions of you, and clicks. They're all important, but the ones at the top are the most important. These are the meaningful metrics that all social media platforms want to see more of. Because guess why? All of the platforms are basically websites, and websites want people to stay on their websites. They want people to stay there. So you need to think about creating content that keeps people there, because it means that more of your content will be seen. Try not to send them away too much. Now, all of those metrics that I just mentioned can be connected with your organization or business goal. So over on the right here, you can see social media metrics. And over on the left, you can see business goals. So earlier I asked you, what is one of your business goals? What do you want to achieve overall? So forgetting about marketing, what is it that you want to achieve? And whatever you had in mind should fit somewhere within these business goals here. And then from that, you can begin to think about, well, what social media metrics should I be looking at? For instance, if I want to grow awareness, I want more people to see my brand and or more people to know what I do. In social media, really, I want to create content that gets more video views and gets more shares, because they are the ways that you reach more people. If I'm looking at further down the funnel that we spoke about earlier, and I want to turn followers into advocates, I want people to be actually engaging with me, then comments, likes, and mentions are really important for me. And then you will all, as a business, you will all have a driving action business goal. And that could be, I want to increase sales by 20% in the next 6 months. And so in social media, you need to be looking at content that gets website clicks, email signups, things like that. Now, I'll send a handout for you to think about this and jot and write down some ideas. But do any of you want to share what your business objective or goal is? Just in the chat, if you share it in the chat, and I can just have give you a view of what social media metrics should be connected to it. If you're shy and you would rather not share your business objective, that's absolutely fine. But it might be interesting. So I'll just see if anyone wants to share in the chat. Gives me a chance to have a cup of tea as well. So awareness. So we've got one. Thank you. So yeah, I mean, I think that is probably, it's the most difficult one, because especially if you're a brand new business, it's difficult to encourage people to actually care about what you do sometimes. So if you want awareness, and that's growing the brand, that's your business goal. You want awareness, so you need to think about social media content that encourages video views and shares. And if you're thinking about your podcast, I think that's quite easy actually. You should be filming when you record your podcast, and you should be putting out the most enticing, engaging, or funny clips from that podcast onto Instagram or TikTok, wherever your audiences are, and trying to get them to engage with you there. That's probably the best way to do something like that when you're thinking about growing a podcast. So that's great. We'll move on. Here's an example, and again, I'll send this around, but I really think this is a worthwhile exercise for you all to sit down and think about. So this is an example from this is from a roofer. So they mend and build housing roofs, and they've got 4 different business objectives they want to achieve. At first, awareness. They want to be the number 1 in the Southeast. Second, they've got consideration. They want to increase engagements with high quality leads across multiple touch points. And when I say multiple touch points, I just mean it could be Instagram, LinkedIn, email, a poster, a newsletter. All of these different things are touch points, basically. They want to drive action, so they want to grow sales with the right clients. And retention, they want to keep their existing clients engaged and their new clients. So from all of these, if we go over to social media KPIs, that's key performance indicators, we can see for awareness, they're looking to increase engagement in primary social media channels. For consideration, they're looking to increase LinkedIn connections for key employees and engagements with new connections. For driving action, they're looking to increase website visits from social media and inquiries via social media. And then retention, they're looking to increase mentions of Clark, that was the roofers, and recommendations across Google and LinkedIn. Now, this is the first stage of you understanding what you need to achieve from social media. And then I would suggest you go away and you think about putting together some actions. So here in the green column, for instance, we've got some actions and targets. So the top action is increasing 10%, increasing engagements by 10%. The consideration action is they want to connect with 2 people in the industry each month. So that's an action. That's ensuring that they're doing that. They also want to increase case study social media posts on their Instagram. That helps drive action. That helps encourage people to purchase from them. And then finally, they've got ask 1 client per month to provide a Google or LinkedIn recommendation. So by really thinking about your business objectives, you can then find a way to connect what you're doing, what you want to do on social media with what you're trying to achieve overall. So, Sarah, you said your art teacher wants to get more people to come to our art class in Brighton. Yeah, so I mean, I think there's obviously 3 different things there. You know, there's the awareness so that people know that the art class exists. There's the consideration to get people to talk about the art class and write comments. And then finally, there's people actually coming along and converting. And so all of those 3 things have specific social media metrics to them. And if you think about the audience, again, we're going to talk about audience in a second, but if you think about the audience, Instagram is probably one of the best places for that audience because it is a really visual place and it's a very arty place and people engage with photography and art on Instagram. So thinking about developing videos of the art class and of people enjoying it, or even some tutorials from the art teacher about just simple tutorials is a great piece of awareness to get more people to engage. And then at the bottom, when you're trying to encourage people to come to the art class, I think a lot of that can happen within Instagram comments, for instance, or creating posts that encourage people to click through to learn more and come along. So I think that's a really interesting thing. Shirley, so my husband and I just start to run our 2-person branding agency in Brighton. We want to help brands to build branding and compelling visual stories. Would you think LinkedIn is the best option for service agency to build our awareness? Absolutely. I think LinkedIn is one that a lot of people forget about. However, I mean, what you've got to think about again is your audience. Who are the specific brands you're looking to reach? For instance, if you were looking to reach a marketing agency like me, you want to help me build my branding agency, I'm going to be influenced by you in LinkedIn. I'm definitely engaged in LinkedIn, and I know a lot of other businesses are. But I'm also potentially going to be interested in seeing your work on Instagram because Instagram's a more visual place. And if you're showing your work about the branding that you've already done, the brand work you've done for other clients, and you're doing that on Instagram, that's a really interesting thing. So I may become aware of you because I'm just scrolling through Instagram on my spare time, but then I might get more engaged with you and consider wanting to hire you in LinkedIn. So it can happen in that way. It's more than just one channel. But I think if you're a service agency and you're going after others that are also, it's a B2B thing, it's business to business, LinkedIn is really the place to spend time with your personal profile. Your company page is great, but it's never going to be as good as your personal profile. You will reach more people and network with more people doing that. And actually, little plug for the chamber. There is a LinkedIn thing happening in July, which I'm running. If you wanted to learn more about LinkedIn, yes, that's happening in July. So we'll move on from objectives now. If you take one thing away from this whole session, it's this: it's stop posting and ghosting. So once you know what you want to achieve, so you know you want to get awareness, and that means you need video views, or you know you want people to have conversations with you, so you need to encourage comments. You need to stop posting and ghosting. So what I mean by this is you post something to social media and you think, oh, that's it, I'm done. You can't do that. Social media includes the word social for a reason. You need to set aside time to go and comment on other people's posts and to engage with other people like humans do. So LinkedIn, for instance, if you're just posting to LinkedIn all the time and promoting yourself, you're not going to achieve much. You need to engage with other people. You need to comment on other people's posts. You need to reply to people who comment on your posts. You have to have a conversation with people and build relationships with them, not just try to sell to them. So a couple of you have kind of asked about audiences, so that's great. We're going to move into talking about audiences now. So you know what you want to do, but now you need to think about who you're going to reach. Now, I would suggest going and have a look at your own data. So if you have already started your business, go and have a look at who your current customers are. What can the data that you have about them tell you? Also think about your own knowledge, your own social media demographics, and your email lists. Now, it's really important to understand your audience, who they are, and what makes them tick, what makes them really want to engage with you and buy from you. So the first thing to do is go and have a look at these things. Think about the people that you already engage with. Think about who's in your email list, what kind of customer data do you have? Do you know the demographics from your own social media, for instance? Once you know a little bit about that, so say if you've already got some customers and you know that they tend to be between ages 34 and 64, well, you might then think, right, maybe it's more Facebook I need to think about. Facebook is definitely the place where you'll find an older age group. Even though the largest age group is 25 to 34, you're more likely to find an older age group there. So you need to gather that data, have a think about who those people are, and then have a look at the demographics of each channel and work out which channel would work best for you. That helps you begin to build something like this. So we do this with all of our clients. We think about who is the person that we want to reach. This is for Toupret, who's basically the French version of polyfiller, for filling walls. And we've created this idea of this person that we want to reach. We've got an idea of the demographics, of their work, their motivations behind using Toupret as a product, what social media they might use, their online activity, and what their interests might be. Now, this type of work, yes, you have to think about stereotypes of your customer, and stereotypes aren't always good. But in this kind of exercise, it kind of helps you to begin to picture them in your mind, think about the type of content that they might like and why they might engage with you. For instance, we've kind of thought about this person and kind of thought about the motivation. They're keen to leave behind a great job with no on problems. That's no problems after they've completed the job. And they want a product that will help create a job that stands the test of time. So that helps us think about social media posts that tell John that if they use this product, it will stand the test of time. It will make sure that it's a quality job that he leaves behind.